Hi there YouTube, this is Daniel back at Daniel's Comics and back with a review this time. And this review has been requested by the Chinist, who's another YouTuber here at YouTube, and I thought I'd oblige. It just took me a while to get around to it. Sorry about that. But I've decided to review Ivar the Timewalker, these three trades that completes the full run, and volume 1 is called Making History and is drawn by Clayton Henry and written by Fred Van Lente, who's done Archer and Armstrong and Amazing Spider-Man, and Clayton Henry has done Harbinger and Invincible Hercules. And then in volume 2 we have Fred Van Lente as well, on words or story, and Francis Portela, who's done Green Lantern Corps before. And then we have Ending History, which is the concluding story arc, written by Fred Van Lente and drawn by Pere Peréz. And the book itself is a time travel story, and Ivar is a time traveler who navigates through time with the help of a compass that allows him to find and walk through holes or rifts that naturally form. He can there jump to the dawn of the dinosaurs, to the Battle of Trafalgar, to the end of time itself if he decides to. He just needs to find the right rift at the right place in the right time. And this is basically Ivar Timewalker. And when Nila Seri, a researcher in Geneva, Switzerland, this is her, she works with some experiments deep down underground at the Large Hadron Collider over at CERN. She's about to unknowingly discover the biggest thing since, I would say, sliced bread, jokingly. And she's about to discover the origin or so for time travel. And at that moment, Neela's life is basically in jeopardy, and it's just that she's unaware of this, and she's unaware about what this discovery will lead to in her life. But at this moment, Ivar appears in Neela's lab, in true Doctor Who fashion, seemingly out of nowhere, and all sorts of deadbeat bounty hunter, chrononauts, aspiring conquerors, and misguided protectors of the time stream is about to chase down this odd pairing through time and space. Well, what about the artwork? Overall, I like the artwork in these three volumes. It's a lot of fun to look at while reading, and it complements the humor of the story quite well. One would think that the artwork would noticeably change between each volume and the story arcs, but that's really not the case in this series. At least not to me. The artists involved do really well in interpreting each other's art, or the art that came before, which helps you to seamlessly just continue read it without really noticing much change in the art. And that will also help you if you decide to binge read this story like I did. I have some final thoughts as well. Overall, I had quite a lot of fun while reading these three volumes. More fun than I thought I would have. And I must say that I would rank this story among some of the top stories about time travel in comics. There are time loops and some sort of dimension hopping during the following two arcs. And which takes the story in different directions than the previous volumes, or the volume that came before. But it really never strays far from the core of the story. and all this makes it feel like it's had a really thought out plan from issue 1 through 12. And I want to compare this story to Doctor Who, and those of you who have seen Doctor Who might see the similarities too, because to me they are quite obvious. You have one jaded, seemingly immortal time traveler in Ivar, and that would be the Doctor Who character, that whisks away a brilliant young woman, in this case Neela, on an adventure, who then would be the companion character in Doctor Who, through time and space, and they start to time travel and bond, and the bond then develops into a deep friendship and maybe more. The dynamic between the characters, though, evolve through each volume, as Ivar seems to have the upper hand in the relationship, and as the story progresses, each volume, Ivar and Neela stand on more even footing, so to say. And towards the end of the arc, the last arc, the dynamic truly shifts once more, as Neela seems to have more of a upper hand in the relationship. This is a fun story for the fan of the time travel stories, and it's also quite self-contained as far as Valiant books go. And if you're intimidated by jumping into a new universe like the Valiant universe, you shouldn't be, since these 3 volumes seems to be very self-contained and almost completely standalone, since they don't really affect or is affected by what's going on in the Valiant universe back then or now. So yeah, this has been my hopefully not too long review of Ivar Timewalker. So if you found this sort of review helpful in deciding if you want to read this story, please let me know in the comments section. Have you read it before? Just let me know what you thought. Am I wrong, or have I sort of hit the nail with this review? And until next time, have a great week of reading, collect what you like, and see you around. Bye bye.